I mean, we're live now.
We're live now, are we?
We are live now, and we are going to have a epic conversation.
Yeah. Well, it's all about like the full moon in Aries at the moment, as well as I know I'm talking about Mercury this week, but seeing as how it's the full moon, it's good to talk about that first a bit, because I think, as I said last week, like when the moon is in fire, it's all about like action and taking inspired action. And what's interesting about the moon at the moment is that it's to do, is it still opposing Jupiter? Let's have a look now. It is, yeah. So the moon and Uranus is opposing Jupiter as well. So that's quite a dichotomy. That's between like, truth, and then it's also expansion. So it's kind of like this conflict between both, and then being an external conflict. But the moon in Aries, it's all about action. It's all about taking inspired action. And as we spoke a couple of minutes ago, I'm feeling it's real F off time. It's real like, just do it, and it's very much about like, because Aries is all about action. It's all about being the leader. It's all about like taking charge. It's all about like no more excuses. It's all about like, this is what I'm here to do, and just do it.
And it's following that inner guidance, right? So
it's all about like taking big, bold, decisive action at the moment, and not being scared to like, sometimes, if the moon is in water, then it's more about emotion, or if the moon is in air, it's more about like intellect and thinking. But it's really about like just taking big, bold, decisive steps at the moment. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is that you've got Mercury then in Libra. So Libra is all about being the diplomat and the peacemaker, and Mercury is conjunct the Sun at the moment, and that's also in Libra, and then Jupiter is in Libra. So there's kind of this big, external push-pull balance between like taking inspired action and like universal truth, which is what Uranus is always about. Uranus is always about kind of like the universal truth. And as I've said before, solar planet, particularly when it's in fire, it's very comfortable in fire because it's very comfortable in action. So, on the Mercury conjunct the Sun, it's kind of like there's a blending between the essence of who we are and how we communicate. I mean, what sort of feelings have been coming up for you now around the full moon? Have you been feeling the whole impulse to just like do it, or have you seen that with your clients as well?
Yeah, I was inclined Monday to announce that I'm going to
That's your what? Sorry?
I was going to announce on Monday that I'm going to do a 10-day for people to learn to trust their guide.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
And how to do it. And people said, just say to me, oh, this is what you do. Because when you follow what you feel, you're just in alignment with what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Just know when you say, it's like, it's okay, you can do your thing. I'm going to do mine. And it's perfect. And our own perfect thing. We have this awesome work.
Oh yeah, because like when I look at the transit chart for like this point in time in Genoa, there's a huge amount of trines and sextiles in the chart. So like even that has shifted a bit since the energy of the full moon last night. So like trines are all about, powerful flows of energy, and then sextiles are all about two planets working together in harmony, and then the moon conjunct Uranus, that's all about being different. That's all about being different and taking inspired action in a different way. And what's interesting is the moon, well, in Italy anyway, it's sitting in the 3rd house right as we speak now. And then Uranus is in the 4th house. So in Italy, that's all activating, things around the home. And there's a grand trine and fire going on at the moment as well between the north and... Yeah, because you were breaking up on me, so I couldn't hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, you were breaking up on me and a small little bit. There's a grand trine between the North Node and between Saturn and Uranus, and then also the moon. There's actually 2 grand trines going on. So that's all about... that's very much all about inspired action, because energy around trines and fire is all around huge action and huge energy. And then Saturn in Sagittarius is putting a lot of structure around it. It's putting a lot of structure around the moon, because Saturn trining the moon is Saturn's trining Uranus, and it's also trining the moon. So that's quite good, because it's because the Sun was squaring Pluto, and then we also have Mars and Venus and Virgo Virgo, they're kind of like cuddling up to each other at the moment. They're in absolute conjunction. So like there's, you know, and Virgo is all about being kind of like doing things kind of at quite a perfect level. And Venus in Virgo is kind of quite perfectionist. And then Mars in Virgo then would be very much wanting to know that everything is right before they do it or as they do it. So that's quite good. That balance is kind of the fire energy of the moon at the moment. I mean, have you seen that among your clients as well? Have you seen that among other clients or people that you know that they just want to take inspired action, just do things?
Yes. It's the confidence to say, okay, I'm gonna be and do something entirely different. Just had a big consultation yesterday with someone saying what you're talking about and what your vision is so far out.
Okay.
You know, you have to trust what you're guided to do it because what happened. Because most people are jumping from kindergarten to college.
Yeah. So what inspired action was this client going to take?
Well, we have to figure out the echo part.
You're breaking up on me. What did you say?
It's vibrating here. So he has this beautiful connection with the tree, and let's just say the trees are saying, "You humans are real pain in the butt."
Wow.
We think we know that trees are being so patient with us. They've been here for millions of years, right? And they're just kind of going, you know, we love you, but could you just get out of the way?
I love that phrase. Yeah, getting out of the way. There's so much to be said for that, you know, because so often we stand in our own way. Like we overthink things. And particularly, I have a lot of Mercury in my chart. I have a lot of air in my chart. Like I have the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury all in Gemini. So I'm terrible for like overthinking things because Mercury in Gemini can do that. It can like over communicate and overthink.
Okay.
You know, and then Mercury in Cancer can be like over emotional in how they communicate. I mean, because sometimes we just got to do it. You know, and I've been reading a lot of other astrologers' blog posts in the last couple of days. And it's just really fiery energy out there now, you know, because, you know, we've got Ceres in Leo as well, and we've got the North Node in Leo, and then we've Saturn in Sagittarius. So like we've 4 planets plus the North Node in fire. So there's a lot of fire going on in the chart at the moment, you know, and then Mercury in Libra, as I said, like it's the ultimate diplomat, but that's again quite a strong balance against the Moon in Aries, because the Moon in Aries, just as soon as the Moon in Aries thinks something, it says it. You know, whereas Mercury in Libra is kind of like the ultimate diplomat. It's like, you know, we think before you say anything, and that doesn't always serve us. You know, so the Moon in Aries is very much about speaking your truth and just getting it out there. You know, because being the diplomat and being cautious and careful about what you say, it doesn't always serve us at all.
Well,
you know,
you're talking to a Libra. Right. And very much a lot of my life, although I would make my own choices that were different, I didn't say it publicly, right? Like I may have moments, but I would back off because on this same thing, because I'd say like, no, I'll just, you know, I'll keep the peace. But I feel very rooted now.
Oh, good.
That all I need to do is speak my truth, and it comes through me, and people either get it or they don't get it. It's no big deal.
Yeah, and it's like, it doesn't matter if they don't get it. You know, we can learn to let go of that. Like, we tend to think it matters if they don't get it, and it actually doesn't matter a damn.
No.
It really doesn't matter a damn. If people, and it's like one of my favorites, I can't remember who invented it. It's like, you know, we are the sum of the 5 or the 7 people that we spend most time with.
Right.
like since I've been in Genoa, I just consciously decided to, like, you know, just work on my abundance mindset. And, you know, I've manifested a lot of things since I've been here. And I was kind of sitting outside in my lucky table, you know, earlier, because I got, like, you know, family booking, and then I got some more money coming into my account. And you kind of go, yeah, well, that's part of like working on my abundance mindset. Like, I spent the afternoon just walking up and down in front of the boats and the yachts yesterday. And I remember messaging somebody, I want an F off yacht when I go to Santa Barbara. And it's like, I want an F off yacht, and I don't want to have to work on it either. I want somebody else to take me on it. So, like, to do that, you have to just like hang around money and hang around abundance. And then we also have to learn to detach from that. And the other thing we need to learn is like to detach from how things happen for us, you know, to detach from where the money comes from.
Right. And so let's just, because I've talked about this with Arena on Feng Shui too. So when we're talking about abundance and being with the yachts, which is just fabulous, like it's a feeling, right? You feel, you go, yes, this is lovely. Yeah. And the key is to be able to enjoy it, to feel blessed by it, but separate from being attached to it in that you need to have it or it means something that you have it. It's just to enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? You know, because Jupiter on the midheaven is all about abundance at the moment. You know, and the midheaven is in Libra. So Libra is all about like balance and beauty, but it's, you know, Libra is ruled by Venus. So it's also about our finances. So, you know, so, you know, in the general astrological chart for Genoa anyway, you know, Libra is on the midheaven, and then Jupiter is conjunct the midheaven. So it's all about kind of like expanding our finances out there and learning to enjoy them without wondering about where they come from. And then the other thing I think that women always do is we think that we have to work hard to get money. Yeah. You know, I was thinking yesterday, I mean, I earn more in 3 hours doing a family consultation than I did in 3 weeks working as a nanny in Italy. Right. But then when I was a nanny in Italy, I learned to be abundant and to enjoy the abundance I had. Yes. You know, and then Mercury, because what's interesting about Mercury in Libra in the 9th house is all about travel, and it's all about learning. Mm-hmm. So like there's a big emphasis on kind of like higher learning with Mercury in Libra at the moment, which is it's because it's all about like expanding the mind and like letting go of what you learn and where you learn it from. Like one of the lovely things that's been happening to me here now in Genoa was just hanging out with some people in their 20s, and it's been lovely. It's been great. I've kind of changed my plans to spend more time with them. So like my friends in Lucca who are kind of saying, well, you know, we're here, we're there, we're this, we're that. Like they did me a favor. So I was kind of going, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll hang around 4 yachts in Genoa. It's like I feel my time in Genoa, it's been to get me ready for the States and Santa Barbara, because that's just so much bigger. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Have you ever been to the States?
Yes, many times. And it's interesting. I have at the moment, I have like there's like, see that? Yeah. Like I'm great just being north of the border. Okay. But okay. I've spent a lot of time. I actually worked in the States for a full year many moons ago, but I've been pretty much everywhere in the States. So
what was it like for you? How did you feel when you were there?
Well, see, it's a different experience, right? In that the way I describe it with people now is, even with all my American friends, is that as a Canadian, I grew up with Big Brother. The United States was like Big Brother. Okay. Mother England was the mother, right? So that's, you know, and we were between the spaces. So we didn't really, we were still feeling our identity. And we were doing things differently. People were coming in, and I mean, Canada, we have such a small population for such a big country, second largest in the world, right? And we have all the resources, and we have the most fresh water, and, you know, we have all this that Minnie's a mini little world. Yet we were always overshadowed by America's doing it better. And we would go, well, heck, man, you know, there's a great person, Lily Singh. She's called herself Superwoman. She's a young girl. She's born in Toronto, and now she does her own thing. She does one between Canada and America. And she's like, hey, because she's living in the States. And she goes, you know, we've got gay marriage now. And they go, we've had it for 10 years. You know, we have some health care. We've had it for like 40, you know, We have 1 year maternity leave. So when you're living outside of it, you recognize, and other parts of Europe and the world see the dysfunction. But Big Brother didn't see the dysfunction at all. And I just feel like the people inside the United States now, and I love you all, the closets are open, and you're seeing what's been really going on that so many of the rest of us have seen in the world. And now it's time to heal. That's all it is. It's just to stand in that space of love, not talk about it, to really love and know that it comes from here. It doesn't, when each of us do our thing here, vibrationally, in Italy, in Canada, everywhere in the world, it affects the whole, because we're in this together. But,
we are, absolutely, totally. Yeah, totally.
So, yeah. I'm feeling like I'm staying here, sending love to my big brother and saying, and it's so funny that I actually say that, because I'm sending love to my own big brother, that he can get out of his own childhood stuff still. It's interesting. And
is he in the States?
Release. No, he's not. He's in Canada. But that just came to me right now, that it was like, yeah, it's just healing. It's like, it's time. And I drew that line with him at Christmas. I actually said, enough. I have sent you love. I've done love. But I mean, if you want to stay in your drama, stay in your drama. But yeah. So that's my story, and that's why I'm north of the border, and you're welcome to come here and visit me in PI anytime.
I might. Woo!
If you continue to stay a whole year, you might just have to come back, but I'm feeling 3rd week in September is the time for a week-long retreat here, with very many of us doing workshops for
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm getting a feeling that when I go to the States, I'm not going to be leaving, because, well, in Ireland, we get like a 2-year visa, and then you go to the States for 3 months, and then you have to leave, but you only have to leave for a few days and you can go back again. So like I can just hop over to Canada for a couple of weeks and then go back. And I'm just feeling that. And like for me, it's been such a big trip. It's taken a long time to plan. So it's almost like this time in Genoa has been like what I needed to like expand slowly, to expand from, I was living in a fishing village in Kinsale, and it was beautiful and it was lovely. And in fairness, I got great clients there. And then you go to look and you kind of go, oh my God, this is smaller than I remember. And then you go to Genoa and you kind of go, yeah, this is a nice size, because Genoa's got like 600,000. So that's a step up from Lucca, which has got like 10,000. Yeah, it's quite a big step.
You're kind
of like 6 million.
And for me, it's kind of like the reverse. Is I would never have thought I could live in a small place like Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
Sense in my mentality, years have passed, even 5 years ago, because it would be small. But as I just kept opening and trusting, it is so natural. And I just I'm in awe every day, because I just, even looking at this, the sky, the trees, the ocean, I am the wind. I'm so connected with the elements and the people. We just, my daughter and I just headed over to, actually both of them, to the food bank to see that's under new sort of leadership. And we said, so do you need new help? And they're like, yeah, we could. And then we decided, we could do the pickups. We used to do pickups back in the Toronto area like 10 years ago. So it all naturally flowed. And they're like, so now my daughters are probably going to end up being on the board, because they want the new ideas of how to facilitate this process, so it's fun and it's co-cooperative and everybody's supporting each other, because we do believe that food is just a basic necessity, that everybody has the right to have it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you see, because like one of the things I think, as I said to you, that I do is locational astrology. So like when you move somewhere, then the planets in your chart moves. I mean, I have Mercury in my 12th house, which means that kind of people don't really see how well I communicate. But when I go to the States, then Mercury moves to my 6th house, which is my house of work. So like work will be heavily activated for me, and communication and work will be very heavily activated for me, which is really good. And it's like, as I said, like Mercury at the moment is in the 9th house. So, it's all about like communication out there in the world, and communication and it's kind of like about learning at a higher level. Not
going to just be broadcasting everywhere. You're going to be the astrologer of the world.
Well, it's kind of, because who was it who posted on the heart-centered group about like, do you have to be super famous to be doing this Be Live? And I went, okay, I'm part of the super famous now, am I? And I was like, yay, I can do this.
I didn't see that post.
Yeah. So what is Be Live? Is it linked to Facebook or not?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's really easy. I mean, it was in beta testing the beginning of the year. And just before I did my first global party, which I was, again, like I'd heard about it, but it was like 3 days before I was told, you're going to use this for the party. And I told everybody, okay, we're switching to this. None of us have had any experience with it, but we're going with it. And so, yeah, to me, it's just, I like it. You know, it's like some people just like doing the Facebook Lives, but there doesn't always have the interview format on a Facebook Live.
I was wondering, I was going to ask you what the difference is. Yeah. So Facebook Live is just one person broadcasting out, is it? It doesn't have the interaction.
It is, but in some places in the world, right, they have the ability to do interviews. So it just depends on where you are in the world and how, because they're rolling things out. So BeLive has done this, and I'm about to take it to like a next tester, which is to do like a talk show and bring a third person in and test that out, because I think that would be great that we could then have somebody, you know, come along and say, hey, and bring them up and have the conversation, right? And
that would be really good. Well, this is all about Mercury in the 9th house then, yeah, putting it out there in the world and expanding it. It really is.
So my question is, when you talk about like Mercury is in the 12th house for you in Italy, but it's only going to be in the 6th when you're in the States, because my mind is going, hold on, the planets are in certain places in the sky, right?
Yeah, well, what you do is you do what's called a relocational chart. You do your natal chart again as if you've been born in the States, so the planets all move. So like I have a lot of planets in the 12th house, which is quite a misunderstood house. It's kind of like the hidden house, and it's kind of like, you know, I have the sun and I have Mercury and I have Venus in the 12th house. So it means like the sun in the 12th is kind of like you're a hidden leader. Mercury in the 12th is like you're kind of hidden in how you communicate. So one way that I worked around that, and if anybody else listening, Mercury in the 12th, the good way of getting around that is by making yourself visible on the internet. So like when I do my relocated chart for Santa Barbara, for example, the Mercury moves into my 6th house. So it's like as if I was born there. So it means like work will be, it means I'll just be much more visible there. And then the sun and Venus then move into my 5th house. It'll be a much more playful place for me, and I'll be just much more visible. And then Jupiter sits on my ascendant, which means, and like, you know, in the natal chart, the chart I'm doing now at the moment that we're talking about, Jupiter is actually the chart ruler at the moment for Italy. And then it's interesting to see that Jupiter is up in the midheaven. So yes, I mean, like relocation is brilliant. And if somebody's going through very difficult transits, like relocation can really help them with that. Just even to go somewhere for like, well, as I did to Italy for 3 days and I moved there.
Well,
yeah, what were you going to say?
So what I'm hearing you say, so I'm just going to clarify, is that wherever we are in the world, in that moment that we're born, the planets are in a certain place, right? And that affects the energy in that state. But in a sense, as we relocate, the planets relocate.
Oh yeah,
the energy shifts. And so even though the moon is a full moon, right? It's in different parts of an experience, every part of the world.
Yeah, like the moon now in Italy, for example, at this point in time, it'll have moved a bit now this evening because the moon moves very fast. It's the fastest moving planet in the chart. So at the moment, it's at the bottom of the chart. It's kind of the IC, which is a sense of home and roots, which is interesting, you know, because I'm actually feeling very at home here. And I'm feeling like, you know, I'm finished with Italy from an astrological point of view, but not in a bad way. It's kind of, okay, well, it's where I'll go now to be inspired and to kind of like just go inward on myself. Because it's interesting, actually, because my moon is in my 12th house in Italy. It's in my 1st house in Ireland, but it moves into it's in my 12th house in Italy. So it's interesting that, like, you know, from the transit point of view, it's actually in the 3rd house at the moment. I'll tell you now where it is in. I'll just do it for Prince Edward Island, and I'll tell you where it is now. Just give me 1 sec. I just need to do an edit on it, put my glasses on. Where are we now? So, Prince Edward Island.
Because I keep thinking of that song, when the moon is in your 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars.
Prince. What state are you in?
I'm Prince Edward Islands in Canada. There's no state.
Okay.
We are a province, and that is.
That's what I thought. Yeah, it's not. Well, it's not.
Not showing up.
No, it's not.
There you go.
Prince George, you're not, no.
Nope. Prince George is in British Columbia. So if you're looking for, maybe you need a city and then a province. So the city would be Montague, Montague. And that might not even show up.
No, it's not.
Try Charlottetown then. CHARLOTTETOWN.
CHARLOTT, yeah?
Yeah, ETOWN, Charlottetown.
Sorry, CHARL?
Yeah, Charlotte. So Charlotte.
Oh, and then town. Okay. Okay, in Canada. Here it comes up. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Here. Oh, it's interesting. The moon doesn't change much, actually. For you, the moon, the chart doesn't change much at all. The moon is still in the third house, and then Uranus moves from the fourth into the third. So it's interesting that the chart doesn't move. It hardly changes at all, actually, except, Jupiter moves into the ninth house. I mean, here in Italy, it's in the 10th house, but it moves into the ninth house. And that's interesting, given that we're talking about expansion and that we're talking about Mercury in the ninth house, and then Jupiter just slithers over into the ninth house when I'm talking to you. So that's where it is in the locational chart now at the moment. Yeah, which is very interesting. And the Grand Trine and Fire is still there, and then I'll just see what else Mercury is doing.
So when you say that it's close, you mean your chart over there in Italy and my chart here is very close. So we're even though we're an ocean apart and a bit of a sea, we're really.
Yeah, not much difference. And what's interesting as well is, I'd forgotten that Mercury is squaring Pluto at the moment, and the Sun is squaring Pluto. So that's the Pluto thing. It's what's giving the full moon all the power at the moment, because the full moon is opposing Jupiter. It was squaring Pluto yesterday. It's not squaring Pluto now, but a square is all about like an internal challenge, an internal urge to do things. So it's kind of like Pluto is kind of like digging deep, and it's kind of bringing all the shit, the SHIT to the like dealt with. So it's kind of bringing everything up to be looked at.
Yeah.
That's what Pluto transforms everything it touches. It can't not. There's no point in ever resisting a Pluto transit, because you are just wasting your time. So you just got to go with the Pluto stuff. So that's where like Uranus and Fire is really helping that. It's really helping relieve the energy around that, because in where you are at the moment, Pluto is in the 12th house. So the 12th or the first house. So the first house is all about the sense of self. So there's a lot of transformation around the sense of self at the moment over in Prince Edward Island. There's a huge amount of that. And then the moon in the third house, it's all about like early learning and early childhood, because the third and the ninth house mirror each other. Like the third house is like about your own early learning, and then the ninth house is about higher learning. So I mean, have you seen? And again, as I said, Mercury in Libra, it's all about the diplomat and all about being diplomatic.
Well, it's interesting because when I posted, right, the Buddhist monks, Master Zenru, came in 2008. She traveled the world looking for a new location. She felt it was time to, and so she came here and she said, "This will be the new home." And so on Wednesday night, there I was with like 1,000 Taiwanese. I had there was actually 80 of us, so-called islanders this time, which is up from 10 last time, and I had my girlfriend who's never really. She's had a few experiences off the island, but to be in amongst that many of a different culture was just a whole new experience.
Were they there in person, or was it via Be Live?
No, they were there. We were all in person.
How many people again?
Pardon?
How many people again?
About 1,000.
Oh my, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we were all in the prayer room, which is, just awesome. And Master Zenru was, giving her conversation about being peaceful and, honoring the harvest and letting the light shine from within. And we're all singing the song about, it doesn't matter what's happening, like the darkness might come, but the light is always here and we're always by my side. And it was just, for me, it was seeing this whole community that's been built, right, in amongst the trees, kind of. That's how it is. And there's a second one being built, and the nuns are ready to build theirs. And this is all on the east side of the island. And this is where when we came, my daughters and I traveled the whole island because we felt the east, but we got to check out the whole island. It's not that big, right? And we too felt like the east. And the Amish have come to the east. And
really?
They're relocating here. And there's this whole, something's happening in them. And in terms of harmony and balancing, the mayor actually of Montague, the little area, they gave him a little gift. And because we all got these beautiful boxes that each the monks made. They, designed them. They'd open up. I wish I had it here, and open up like in 3 parts, like how you see candelabras, like with 3 candles. So it was a box, and it opened up, and it had 3 spaces like to hold tea lights, but they were for 3 moon cakes, because so they gave everyone one of these complete wonderful gifts, right? Sturdy box, like almost like a heavy duty high liquor box. That type of, and all crafted out, and each 3 home baked moon cakes for every guest that was.
Wow. And do the monks live near you? You've broken up on me. I can't hear you.
There's 1 and the other's 10. Yes. Pardon?
Sorry, you broke up on me there. Do the monks live near you? The Buddhists that came, do they live near you? You've broken up on me again.
And across the street.
Sorry, no, you broke up on me again. What did you say?
Yes. Can you see me?
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. That really is incredible.
Way.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's because like Chiron is in the 2nd house at the moment, so there's a lot of healing around finances, and then Neptune is in the 2nd house, so it's kind of like higher mysticism and higher spirituality around finances, and it's kind of like a letting go of finances.
Yes.
Which is an interesting one, because I'm just looking to see what I look quintiles and septiles, because they're like the genius aspects of charts. Because the moon is sextiling a lot. You see, the moon is trining Saturn, and it's trining the north node, and it's sextiling the south, and it's trining the ascendant, and it's sextiling the descendant. So, and then Mercury is quintiling Saturn, and then as I said, Mercury is squaring Pluto. So that's kind of like around an internal tension to like communicate things and get things out there. Like Pluto is making it difficult and challenging, but because it's a square, the impulse is there to do it and to get it out there, hugely, massively,
Yes.
So and it's interesting that Jupiter is in the 9th house where you are, because you probably find an emphasis on higher learning at the moment, and because it's in the 9th and because it's conjunct the midheaven, there's just a big flow around it. There's a lot of ease around it. There's no difficulty in any shape or form.
Well, it is in the sense that this island is mainly influenced by United Kingdom, right? So they have deep roots in Ireland, more England, Scotland. So Christian roots.
Okay.
Yet the monks are Buddhist monks. So over the years, it's been this, are you trying to, and it's like people are just realizing that they're acts of kindness, like they grew this sunflower field and gave out sunflowers to different businesses just to bring joy. They bake rolls to contribute to the community for those that donate. They're doing things they can because they have a group, right? So they can work together. But they're just demonstrating by action, which so many people that had issues being Christian.
Okay.
Saying, where's the action? You can talk about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go to church, but where's the action every day? There's a real blending coming together of the process of saying, it's what do we do each day? We can love each other. And there's already a great sense of community here in the island. They're very good about having the neighbors back and stuff. Like, it's quite incredible to me. That was the first thing and trust, like you can drive down the street and they'll be like, you want potatoes or firewood, just leave $5, right? And they just, it's the old, just grab them and pick them up. Or, here's, you want your pumpkin, just drop a toonie in the bin. And this complete trust of life and supporting each other. And they have ceilidhs and celebrations to raise money for somebody to go off island to get treatments. And, it's something magical is happening here.
Yeah, well, it's interesting about Jupiter being up on the midheaven, even over here, because Like, I'd completely forgotten Christopher Columbus was born in Genoa.
Yeah.
I think it's 525 or 625 years to the day. Like, he discovered
Really?
he discovered the States in the 12th of October, so 1492, and to be 500 or 625 years later to the day I go to the States, and you kind of go, wow.
Maybe
Kind of go, wow. And I'm sure he wasn't thinking too much about what he did. He just did it, you know?
Yes, but
because I don't think much is known about him. What were you going to say?
Maybe you have this, maybe you're on the ship with him.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, I'm getting goosebumps. Oh, my God, I'm getting goosebumps when you say that. Wow. Wow. Because I mean, Genoa is a beautiful city. It's very subtle. It's got, I me's got one street that's got like about 100 palazzos, and then you go to the old port, and then they've got all these modern new buildings and these beautiful old palazzos beside them. And it's all very Jupiterian. It's all very naturally expansive. Mm-hmm. And it's all very balanced and harmonious and peaceful. And as I said, even the hostel I've been staying in, it's been like, yeah, whatever. Everybody's kind of going, oh, I'll stay another night. Oh, I'll stay another night. And I mean, the last time I was in a hostel like that was in Ireland about 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, you very rarely get hostels where people kind of go, oh, I'll stay another night. Oh, I'll stay another night. Right. Very Neptunian.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally Neptunian.
So this is exciting. You're embarking on like the, I forget his ships, the Pinta Maria, what were they?
I'm not sure what it was called. I'll have to look it up actually. Yeah, because he discovered like Central America before America. It was more Central America he discovered, I think. I can't remember who discovered North America, but there's not a huge amount written about him. I thought there would be. Like, his house is tiny. There's like 3 rooms in it, and that's it. Right. And then you can see the buildings that were built since he lived there. Mm-hmm. So like where he lived, he would have had a perfect view out to sea. So again, it's all the feng shui, it's all the expansion. You have to visualize the house without the modern buildings that were built there. So it's like, I mean, I'm sure where you live, you've got huge expansive views. Have you?
Yes, and think about that though, right? Like how he would have had to trust his inner guidance. I'm going to get on a boat. You see nothing. Right? Like, think of it. You get on and you don't even know where it's going. Some people still thought the world was going off the edge. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to discover.
Oh, yeah, wasn't he the one who discovered that the world was round?
In that process, I don't know, you know, like, but yeah. That was the journey, is like you set off, because I just look, you know, my horizon, all I see is ocean. And when the fishermen go out there, even I think, well, how far are you going? You know, like, where does it go? And to think that really that this ocean links, we know that this link, if I go, I'll get there, but not to know that.
Yeah, well, like one of my favorite sayings is to discover new horizons, you have to lose sight of the shore. I love that saying.
Exactly.
I absolutely love it. You know, I really do. And that's why it was beautiful being down in Genoa and the port and around by the old port. You see all these big F-off yachts and you go, yeah, I'm going to be on one of those one day. And I'm not going to be working on it. I'm not going to be working on it. I want somebody to take me on their yacht.
See, that's
and it's just Santa Barbara is like trusting that I don't have to get a day job to be there. Right. You know, I mean, if I did, there are so many jobs there, like, and there's like all TV jobs and film jobs and producing jobs and personal assistant jobs. Then you kind of go like, no. I'm going to manifest the dream life there without being there, without any of that. And like, that's what Genoa has been about. It's been about, like, you know, it's interesting, you know, we're talking almost more about Jupiter than about Mercury, but it's like, it's expanding through communicating. Mm-hmm. You know, it's expanding and traveling through communicating, because Jupiter, as I said, for you now, it's in your 9th house in Libra, and the Sun is in Libra, and then Mercury is in Libra, and then, you know, Venus and Mars are in good old Virgo. So they're kind of like, you know, thrashing it out and getting, you know, like people's values and their sense of action. They're being done in a very structured way, you know. And then the Moon in Aries is just really, really giving us the impulse to put everything out there at the moment, hugely, you know, which is great. It's brilliant. I mean, I love the energy of fire, because, as I said, sometimes we talk so much about doing things, we don't actually do them, you know. And, you know, the chart at the moment, most of the energy is cardinal, which is all about like initiating and getting it out there and starting, you know, because 3 planets in Libra, which is cardinal, and then 2 in Aries, which are cardinal. And then Pluto and Capricorn. So like half the chart is in cardinal, which is all about like starting and just getting it out there and just doing it, which is great. It really is, you know.
Well, I just have to make sure that you heard what you said about that you're going to get a yacht, but you're not going to work on it.
Yeah. You're going to quote that back to me in 3 months' time, are you?
I'm just going to quote that to you in the fact that if you were on a ship with Christopher Columbus,
okay,
right, when you said you had goosebumps, you would have been on a ship working.
Okay.
Right? So give up that, whatever your past experience was, if that's something that resonated with you, right? You want to know that, yes, you're already drawn to a boat, but that was then you had to work on it.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. I'm getting even more goosebumps. It's kind of like I've done it.
You've done it. You've done the working on the boat thing.
Oh, my God.
So you don't need to do the working on the boat thing. So don't focus on the working on the boat thing. Think about enjoying and relaxing on the boat thing.
Well, I'm kind of thinking about being a private astrologer on a boat that's crossing the Pacific.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I
wanted to cross the Atlantic, and now I'm thinking, the Pacific could be warmer. Because is the Pacific where you go from the States to Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and what comes up. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, I won't forget that now, what you said about Columbus, for a long time. Because like there's something that brought me here. I mean, I might never have discovered that he discovered America on the 12th of October.
Yeah, there's something all there, and then the goosebumps are giving you another sign. So, and then when you just said, and I don't want to work on it, I was like, yeah, well, there you go. I think it's because you already did that.
Wow. Well, this time next week I'll be in the States. Woo.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask. So we probably want to change our time, or you want to get up and do it at 5 o'clock in the morning?
Let me work out what the time difference is, because I'll be in Boston, and where will you be?
Oh, you'll be in Boston? Okay,
I'll be in Boston, so I think the time difference isn't just, but I think I have something on next Friday. I'll have to check it. So let me get back to you. We might have to take a week's break or else change the time, but let me get back to you.
Wonderful.
I need to look up Christopher Columbus and boats and get rid of my goosebumps first.
I'm so excited to hear the results of that. So when you're in Boston, you can land and it'll be like the Boston Tea Party, but there's so much about this innovation and discovery that you're on. So this is great. I am so glad you're sharing.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, I hope to talk to you next week.
Okay. You be in touch.
Okay. Take care. Okay. Lots of love. Talk to you soon, and I probably will be over to visit you.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.